I have the weirdest. Today is a weird day of clips because everybody wants to talk about like Fonnie Willis. So, by the way, like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Hi, how you doing? Um, let's see. Yeah, most of the people are kind of talking about how Trump himself is rich. It's not that big a deal, and he was doing the same thing everybody else does, and they just picked on him because of politics. And if he wasn't running, they'd let him go. Like they did Jared Kushner's dad or Bernie Madoff or Martha Stewart. You know what I mean? Nobody ever gets called to the carpet for this kind of shit. Right, here we go.
So oversight continues on. There's a lot of other things like the
Meanwhile, this is Newsmax has on Dershowitz, and I think an AI person as the host.
Transcript of Tony Bobolinsky that also dropped today. What do you make of this one informant indictment here in the FD 1023? I believe there are other FD 1023s in place.
No, they're not.
As well, sir.
No, you don't. You don't. No. Hang out. Wait. Stop. Back the fuck up. You don't get to, after your horseshit argument falls apart, you don't get to fabricate ghost evidence elsewhere. Shut the fuck up. No. No, you don't. There's no fucking way she believes there's other FD 1023s. Stop it. No. Just because this one went up in fucking flames, all you get to do is either warm yourself and wait for the ashes or shut the fuck up.
That's why we have to maintain the presumption of innocence. We don't know the actual facts until all the evidence is in.
Right. Hold on one second. I got to turn this up a little bit. I think it's a little quiet.
Here you have one piece of evidence for what possibly.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Great audio, Newsmax.
The evidence is in. Here you have one piece of evidence for what possibly, but other pieces of evidence are remaining strong.
You can't just say we have presumption of innocence while there are until all the evidence is in, just as the biggest piece of evidence went up in fucking flames. There is no way a lawyer that isn't arguing on behalf of Trump/Epstein and of that ilk would come out and go, yes, the biggest accusation and the single biggest source literally was arrested for not just lying to the FBI, but lying to the FBI while they were catching him in an old lie. He came up with a brand fucking new lie. You can't say presumption of innocence till all the evidence is in when you're in a story discussing the destruction of a primary piece of evidence that isn't evidence, never was.
Ever get to a situation where we have guilt by accusation, where if a person's accused...
Gee, you seem a little defensive there, Mr. Yes, you got a massage at Jeffrey Epstein's house on multiple occasions. Because who doesn't?
And there's some evidence of guilt, we presume guilt. There may be guilt in this case. There may be guilt of one person, but not another person. But we have to maintain our presumption of innocence and make sure that we don't convict anybody in the court of public opinion based simply on allegations.
He does. He seems a little defensive in that argument.
Unless they're tested by the adversarial process. So, yeah, continue with the investigation. Let's see what the evidence turns out to be after it's all in, it's all vetted, it's all subject to cross-examination, and then we can make a valid determination.
Okay. Duh. That just, don't give me fucking, like, the opening monologue of fucking Law and Order, asshole. The story is, this thing that Comer and Jim Jordan and everybody on Newsmax and fucking Danny Ballsack and Flashpoint and fucking Bongholio, all of them were using this $5 million bribe to Biden and $5 million bribe to Hunter, and so they get choked and fired and do all this kind of stuff. They were using this particular piece of evidence as the biggest brick on their side of Lady Justice's scales, and it turned out to be made of helium, and caught fire and burned up. It was methane, I think, is the actually was the chemical compound. Here's I have the audio tape of the evidence that you're discussing. These are direct recordings of the content of the argument. You're welcome.
Called due process, and Hunter Biden's also coming in to testify, so it remains to be seen what they may or may not learn in just a few weeks.
You know what they're going to learn? That you can't question somebody on using a piece of evidence that doesn't exist, that your witness that you were going to use right before you were going to ask him about it, your dude goes to jail, not for lying about that, because he could have just fucked off. That's the weird part. Okay, we talked about this piece of evidence. In case you don't know, we discussed this morning, but the guy who was indicted, Alexander Smirnov, who is the FBI witness behind the FD 1023, the big, much ballyhooed, oh my God, there are recordings, and there's a $5 million bribe to both, Hunter and his dad, and all that shit, right? All that, like that guy, the guy behind all of that was arrested, not because, and this is the fucking beautiful part, not because he lied about the $5 million bribe and lied about the whole story, because they were going to ask him about it. He was arrested because he came in, well, it was all put to bed. Then Republicans brought this FD 1023 out and said, why is no one looking into this? And the FBI went, yeah, that's a good point. We probably should we'll look into this. And they did, on the direction of Republicans. And so they contacted this dude who thought he was in the fucking clear, took his check for being a confidential informant, and fucked off. And all of a sudden, his phone's ringing again. We need to ask you about this, because the Republicans who are going after Hunter Biden just released this, and now we have questions, they have questions, so we want to talk to you again. And this motherfucker's like, fuck. All right, I'll just tell the same story, and Comer and those guys will protect me. And he goes in for an interview, and he tells the same lie, hoping that there's no evidence enough to undercut it, except what tripped him up ultimately? Gregorian monks. Yeah. And their fucking calendar. The fact that 2017 happened after 2015. I mean, how do you fight back against that? So anyways, in the middle of that meeting, where he doesn't realize they're setting him up to basically, just by saying the same story, lie through omission and get around. In the middle of that, he decides to add extra lies on top of it. And that's what gets him busted. They literally make the decision that this motherfucker has to get arrested because he's going to keep doing this. And he took our money, and he lied under oath, and he lied to his handler, and he participated in an ongoing criminal scheme, and he's going to go to jail for at least a decade. But he never would have seen the inside of a fucking jail. He never would have been arrested if they'd have just left him the fuck alone. If Grassley and Comer and Jim Jordan had talked about the FD 1023, but never released it. If they hadn't released that fucking thing and said, we need to keep looking into this, dude was in the fucking clear. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I love it. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. It's Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Let's continue on with this blather.
Let's pivot to one of the other stories. You were good enough to join us live while it was breaking yesterday, the Fani Willis hearing in Georgia. She later took the stand. We were discussing and dissecting Nathan Wade. Here is a bit of her comments yesterday. Let's play this montage for the viewers.
Oh, a montage.
Fani Willis's side decided not to put her back on the stand today. This is our reporting, because they feel they already got everything they needed. They feel that they met the bar. It was enough.
Okay, that's not This is not a montage of Fonnie Willis. This is fucking Newsmax playing CNN clips for either dunking purposes or to glom on to the conversation, borrow their reporting while shitting on the mainstream media. Eat shit. I'm not sorry. I don't like stolen valor in news either. Just saying. Just kind of doofy. Oh, and by the way, CSL just put in, if I may, this graphic right here. This one right here, which I love. I'm not being defensive. You're the one being defensive. I know that. Why don't you think I know that? Of course I know that. I know that. Of course I know that. I know that. I know that. What are you talking about? Like that. This is who Tucker Carlson has become. Just saying. This has been bugging me for a little bit, but Tucker Carlson has become Nathan. What's his last name? Of course I know that. I know that. Well, Nathan Thurm. Thank you. I know that. Of course I know that. I know that. It's obviously everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. I'm saying that, and everybody knows it. Obviously, I wouldn't be saying that if I didn't think it. I'm just asking questions. Of course I know that. I know that it's a question. I know a statement ends in a period or an exclamation point, and a question mark has a question on the end of it. Why would you think I would know that? Of course I know that, and everybody knows that. It's obvious. Obviously, everybody knows that. It's weird to me that he has literally become, that whole obviously and everyone knows it line that he keeps getting stuck with.